Hello there, welcome back to one more lesson. Let's start with today's agenda. Okay, so we are going to study or to be covering some strategies and to know about what scanning and skimming are and the main purpose of them when we are reading and how we can enhance our reading skills through these techniques. Let's start. Scanning in reading means looking through a text very quickly to find specific details. Look at the following shopping list to find out if you remember to order bread. Let me give you 5 seconds. How many words do you read? Well, bread was the only word you needed to read. The other words were not important. This kind of reading is called scanning. What do we usually scan? A telephone book, a list of movies in the newspaper, the ads in a newspaper, the pages of a dictionary. What do we not usually scan? A mystery story, a textbook for an important course, a question on a test, a map for getting to a party. Why? Because these examples, what we have here, we tend to pay close attention due to it is important. We're going to practice this scanning technique for reading by using this example. As you can see right here, we have 5 questions, and you're going to answer them by scanning the text on the next slide, and you need to answer those questions as quickly as you can. So let me give you 10 seconds for you to read the questions. Now, let's continue with the next slide. Pay close attention to this slide because this is the information that you need to answer the previous questions. Remember that scanning is a reading method used to look for a specific information. Were you able to answer these questions in less than a minute? Was it possible or not? No worries. Remember that you need to strengthen this skill. So we are going to continue practicing. Here we have the exercise number 1. Okay, look for the answers to these questions in the index on the image that I posted in Google Classroom, and I'm going to share that image in our chat. Okay, so what you're going to do is to try to find the page numbers very quickly. Write down exactly how many seconds it takes to complete the page. So please write down the starting time, the scanning time, and the finishing time. In Google Classroom, you can see the picture that I posted. And based on this, you need to answer the questions. Okay, so let me start all over again. You need to write down on a piece of paper the page where you can find these words, and this information is in the picture that I posted in Google Classroom. Exercise number 2. Here in this chart, you can find 4 different questions, and you need to answer each of them based on the short news story that I am going to show you in the following slide. And you're going to follow the same process. You're going to write down your starting time, the scanning time, and finishing time. This is a text that you need to answer, and based on this text, you're going to answer the previous questions. Okay? So if it is necessary, you can stop or pause the video for a minute. Skimming is a method that gives you an idea of what the text is about without having to read it in full. Well, it differs from scanning because scanning is a way in which you are looking for a specific information in a text. Skimming is useful when you want to find out the position of a writer. So, when you want to know what the point of view of someone is, you don't need to read everything. You only need to read a few important words. Look at this example. Okay, let me give you 10 seconds and you can read it. Let's read the text together. Dogs are often a problem at home. Many dogs are noisy and dirty. They may even be dangerous for small children. Okay, now, does the writer like dogs at home? You don't need to read all the sentence to learn this, because the answer is no. The writer doesn't like dogs. Why? Just look at the keywords that we find in the text. Problem, noisy, dirty, dangerous. Those are the keywords to figure out the positions of the writer. Skimming is also used for the pattern of organization. Sometimes you need to find out quickly how a book or article is organized. You want to know its pattern. You don't need to know details for this. You don't need to read all the words. You only have to read the signal words and they will tell you about the pattern. Example: a whale eats a lot of ocean food every day. That is because it is a very large animal. What is the pattern of organization for this passage? Here we have four options. Make a check beside the best answer. Okay, so pick up the best answer. What is the pattern of organization for this passage? I highlighted the keyword. So the pattern is cause and effect. Why? Because the keyword is because. This is just like a brief example about the importance of skimming when recognizing the pattern of a text. Skimming for ideas. You can also skim when you want to find out the general idea quickly. Speed is important for this kind of skimming. You should skim at least 2 times faster than you usually read. But you can only do this if you change the way you read. You cannot read every word or even every sentence. You have to leave out a lot. So here are the steps for skimming a chapter from a book or an article. Okay, so let's start reading the first one. Read the first sentences as your usual speed. Ask yourself, what is this about? Second one, go to the next paragraph as soon as you can. Guess the general idea. Remember, you don't need to know the details. You only want to learn something very general about the chapters or articles. 3. Read only a few words in each paragraph after that. You should look for the words that tell you more about a general idea. Often they are at the beginning of the paragraph, but they may also be at the end. And last one, always work quickly. Remember that details are not important while skimming. When we use this technique. So far, we have learned 2 important techniques when you are reading. So, now it's time to put them into practice. I hope you're ready. In case you have any other concern, please feel free to contact me back. So let's practice, okay?